So we've got some prizes. First of all, for the student posters. There was an expert panel, I'm told, in fact, a very expert panel that went through the process and scored all the student posters. And we've got a series of prizes, and in Oscar format, we're going to go in reverse order. There'll be no tears. Okay, careful, steady at the back. I know it's exciting. Sean, you have to contain yourself, all right? I can sense the tension is rising. In second prize, and again, this is nothing to do with me. I happened to sit on a colleague's presentation, and I think it was very powerful. Not only her research work, but the links with outside industry that she was talking about. Camille Achinek, please.
Camille's also interesting because you're a recent transfer to us, in fact, from
Cranfield.
Yes, I've been here for
6-7 months. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Very good.
Thank you.
This is the students voting. Okay, so this is for our students candidates, and this is third prize for Vendikas Achanam Vijay. Congratulations. Very well done. Enjoy. I saw this the presentation, and it was very, very strong. The second prize goes to Mohammed Mayouf.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Well done. The first prize, and again in the student category, goes to Mani Asapapathi. Here. I don't think they are, but a round of applause, Would you want to give it?
Yeah, okay. And there is a final prize. This is actually the Research Director's Prize, as in mind, for the post that I found actually the most intriguing and interesting, and it goes to Harriet Cutler and Sophie Rowe from the LSS. And I'm going to check my DNA when I get home. So well done. Maybe to check. And that's you.
If you'd indulge me for a second, there's a few words that I'd really like to say, and it's really in the context of being the new boy here. This has been, for me, a hugely enjoyable day, and a very surprising day. I want to say more about that later on, but it's a day that doesn't happen by accident. It's a day that happens because some people have done a huge amount of work in order to put this on. So I'd like right at the start to thank Keith for all the work that he's done, but also Jane Farrow, Karen Patel and Ben Wales. Can you please give them all a round of applause? The things that have really pleased me, and it's been quite an astonishing day, I've seen half of the presentations because I couldn't be in two places at the same time, but I don't think I've seen a presentation that didn't inspire me. It's very difficult to talk to an audience that's not expert in your field and keep them awake and paying attention. Every single presentation I saw did that, which is a huge achievement. And so it was that was impressive. The breadth of the research work at BCU is, and I really mean this, astonishing, absolutely amazing. I am surprised, pleasantly surprised. It is a very, very wide and wonderful field. And the other key ingredient, which every presenter that I saw came across with passion. There is no doubt at all in the people who were presenting the work how much they believed in it, how much it meant to them. So again, as the new boy, if you wouldn't mind taking my first impressions on what I've seen here. This is my 5th university that I've worked at. I don't think I've ever seen this before. It's quite marvellous. So congratulations to you. There are two seminal presentations that I really want to draw out, and it really was from both of them from the Faculty of Health. And in one sense, they had nothing to do with research. They were talking about research in pedagogy, but the emphasis was on teaching practice. And the key ingredient from both the presentations was really trusting the students to get involved in their own education. Two different presentations with two different focuses, but the common ingredient was we asked the students about curriculum, we asked the students around delivery methods, we asked the students around assessment, and the net outcome in both, to differential degrees, was a freeing up of academic time to get on with something else. Now, that is a key question for us going forward. But I think we have the answers. We have the answers in ourselves. There are colleagues in this university who are doing quite pioneering stuff. And it varies from subject to subject. I understand that at all as well. But the common ingredient is that why don't we just trust the young people that we're teaching? I have never found in my experience when you ask students to design an assessment process that they make it easy. They always make it harder. I've never found in my experience if you ask them to get involved in the curriculum, they make it boring. They don't make it exciting. So I think the more we can do in that, the more we encourage peer-to-peer learning, the more it frees us to do the third stream stuff, which again we can refer back into our education. So there's two presentations today that I thought were quite instructive. So trust the students. And there is a group of students that I really want us to pay attention to. There is a group of students in this university which are quite fundamental to the success of the next few years. And without addressing that group of students, we are not going to take this university forward in terms of research. And ladies and gentlemen, the group of students that I'm talking about are us in this room. Really what I would like to try to do with your help is to create a research culture that encourages to get that spark, that inspiration, that passion that we had when we started out on our own research again. Because without that, if we don't have that, how on earth can we expect the students that we're trying to educate and support and mentor to have it as well? So the fundamental group of students, ladies and gentlemen, is us. So how much do you fancy being a student again? Just think of the social life we're going to have. But quite seriously, let's get in ourselves. Many in this room won't have lost it, but let's try and get in ourselves that spark of inspiration and passion and drive, and that sort of sense of inquiry. Impact in research is going to be fundamental, and we know that in the run-up to the ref of 2020. But don't forget that educational impact matters also. So there's nothing wrong with curiosity. There's nothing wrong in asking, well, what if? Let's have a go. All right? So I really want to encourage that as we possibly can. Some structural stuff, if I can, just to sort of go on this. Cliff has tasked me with producing the research, or adding to the research strategy, and I'll be trying to do that in by January, and hopefully having it completed in February. I really wanted to take some time after that to talk, to consult on it, to really communicate with you guys what I think research ought to be at BCU, and to see what your views are. It is a collective, it's a collegiate function, so your opinions really matter enormously. There was one of the presentations today which was talking about organisational change in higher education institutions in the UK and Nigeria. Fantastic presentation. The question I really wanted to ask you is that I think being a senior colleague in the university is like being the director of a West End play. Okay, you have some gifted actors, fantastic individuals that the public have paid to come and see. If you over-direct, if you cramp their style, then you get a very wooden performance, and the public don't get what they paid for. If you adopt laissez-faire and you say to the acting staff, well, you go and do whatever you like, you have chaos on the stage, and again, the public don't get what they paid for. So my role is a bit like that, I suppose, is to encourage the very best of our performances and to give you guys the freedom with which to perform. And that's a fine art to try and get that right. All right? So I really look forward to working with you on that. Structurally, the unit of assessments we have are the ones we're running forward with over the next few years. We'll be adding to them. If it doesn't perform, we'll take them away as well. Okay, I think the work over the last couple of years to prepare for this ref has been absolutely amazing, and I can say that because I had nothing to do with it whatsoever. But let's not leave it until the next 2 years before the ref 2020 before we start to do it again. In fact, my boss and your boss won't allow us to. We're going to be driving it quite hard. So as of January of next year, I would like to see every unit of assessment having an external, probably from a Russell, external examiner, exactly as we would do for a course or a PhD viva. And that individual will run with us over the next 7 years around that unit of assessment. And I'll be using the advice from that external to assess the merits of that unit of assessment on an annualized basis. And I'll be encouraging nominations from the faculties for additional colleagues to join that unit of assessment. And I'll also be looking at those who are in the unit of assessment to say, what have you done during 2014? And on the basis of that, are you really doing enough? It sounds aggressive. It isn't. It's what every other university in the country is going to be doing. We need to do it just the same and be just as smart. And it's to be a supportive environment to really push our research forward. So the unit of assessment we have are the ones we're going to run with. We will add to them, but the benchmark is going to be quite great. I need the support of the deans in doing this. I'll be taking the conversations with them to see how best to resource it. I need the active support of the associate deans in each of the faculties, because we will be working up some new ideas, I hope, in order to take it forward. And I've had some really good meetings with all of them bar one, and I'm meeting that colleague this week. So it really is a collective, but the rigor and the discipline we'll be putting into our research we'll be doing from the first month of next year. It won't be left until 2020. And we will be growing. I think the performance that you guys have achieved since 2008 has been astonishing. Cliff laid it out. Unit of assessments increased, up, fantastic. Numbers of FTEs put into the ref, up, fantastic. Our modelling of the submission, up amazingly on 2008. So again, we'll be trying to do exactly the same thing. And the investment, I think, that I would like to really help you with, and again, this is subject to conversations, but let me try it anyway with my boss here, is that I should be helping you to pump prime to get some key researchers in. And why is anybody going to come and work at BCU? Why is a top researcher going to come and work at BCU? Well, there's two reasons. One, the first one is the less important. We've got a fantastic research environment here, and we've got events like this where the quality of our research output is clear to see. But the most fundamental, important thing is this, is that whoever comes here has a chance to work with you. It's your personal reputation and the human capital, to put it in that rather impersonal way, that we have at BCU attracts other people in. Because the competition for good researchers is going to become very fierce over the next 7 years. So I think this is where I think the university should be helping. And also helping to put this into an international context. Let's be honest about it, over the next 7 years we're not going to overturn the inbuilt prejudice that's in the UK higher education system. It isn't going to happen, no matter how good we are, and we are good, or how good we grow to be. We're not going to overturn that. So ladies and gentlemen, bypass it. Let's go round it. Let's form those international links with major research intensives, because internationally people don't care about the inbuilt class system within the university sector in the UK. They look at people who can do things and achieve things, and if those persons exist, they want to work with you. So let's bypass that, start to work internationally, start to work collaboratively, and start to work multidisciplinary. It works far better in terms of citations. It works far better in terms of impact. But as we all know, well, I hope we all know, it's also more fun. It's so much more enjoyable to work with people who have, as an engineer, I think it's so much more enjoyable to work with people who have no concept of engineering, because I can get away with it. But it is really, that's where all the fun packages of work are. So that's where we should be pushing. So I'm hugely pleased and proud to be here. I'm looking forward to working with you enormously over the years ahead. I think with what I've seen today, you are going to make my job so easy. I think you've achieved something quite remarkable with the ref, quite remarkable with today's performance. Please take it from somebody who has no axe to grind, who's coming in completely cold to this. You are awfully, awfully good. So enjoy it. Merry Christmas.